The following is a special presentation of the PDF Sports Network.
Hey, good morning, all. Good morning. Way too early with Pat. Let's check out everything's rolling correctly this morning. Got a special guest from the NEAFL, the Northeast Atlantic Football League, John Cieplenski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am. I thought I verified that before, but I'll double check on that. Got some things to chat about. Make sure this morning, right, I think, there we go. And we're good. Cool. So, we got some things to cover this morning, including our Dynasty bracket has reached Championship Day. So, I will tell you, in my opinion, who the greatest dynasty of semi-pro football is. And again, I encourage you to fill out your bracket. Should be interesting. It's the... Hold on for a second. Cool. Shamrocks versus the Chambersburg Cardinals in the championship of the Dynasty bracket. The Chambersburg Cardinals advanced from the South to defeat the Brooklyn Seminoles Dynasty of the Mid-Atlantic. And then the Shamrocks defeated the Albany Metro Maulers. Maulers coming out of Northwest, and the Shamrocks coming out of the New England area. And that's how we end up with that championship matchup. So, again, a little cool what-if scenario that we get, some off-season stuff while football is not being completely played. However, there was some football played. Southern Tier Stallions out of the NFA actually won the Lone Star Bowl over at least a team from Texas. So Texas keeps talking that stuff, and during bowl season hasn't looked too good for them. So I don't know. They had a pretty good run at it last year. Maybe they're just having an off year this year, but we shall see how they bounce back maybe next season. Who knows? So, let's get started, shall we? So, while I'm waiting for my guest to come on, see if he's here. See if it's being stubborn or what have you. In the meantime, let's see if I could invite John on so we can get this thing started. Also, we want to let everybody know that we are on the PDF network on our rebroadcast of Way to Morning with Pat. Big shout out to PDF network. We're also going to give a shout out to our sponsors, Pioneer Sports, along with Black's Barbecue, and as well, I'm going to give you a little preview of the 3 Bleezy show, specifically Kadeem, as you guys know, Hunch Bleezy, working on this Bleezy card thing. So I'm definitely going to get into the Bleezy card conversation, because I think the Bleezy cards would be a good addition to the man cave and something cool for us to work on during the course of the season. So I'm still looking for John. Where is this guy at? Here we go. Hey, sir, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. I'm excited you invited me on. Pretty honored.
Awesome. Appreciate you. So, for those of you that don't know you, because I know you do most of your work behind the scenes and don't really get the, you're not one of those guys that's out there with it, like the face of your particular product. John, do I have this right? Cieplenski.
You got it. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Awesome.
100%.
So you are the commissioner, owner? Because I know in different leagues it works differently in terms of how you identify the person in charge. So what is your official title?
I just like commissioner. I think the owners own it. I tell them every year you come in, it's your league, it's not mine. That's how I always put it on paper. Yeah, so I prefer commissioner.
Awesome. So got a couple of questions for you as we open up the NEAFL season. You have two conferences, a national conference and an American
Yeah.
conference. How did you divide it up? Is it, I was trying to see with the teams, and I'm pretty good with geography, but I couldn't for sure figure out how you group them.
What I did is basically area, divide you by your neighbor. You know what I mean? As best as I could. We had two teams in Delaware. We had two teams in Pennsylvania. And, they were right next to each other. So it was like, why make them play in the same conference? It kind of like makes it more of like a north and a south. And I think that's kind of boring. And it kind of like waters down an area of a chance to get to a championship. Because if you have the same best teams, maybe in the same town, I wanted to divide it.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're looking at some of your teams here, and I want to kind of go through them. So it's kind of like a rapid fire session on this thing.
Yeah.
So the teams are teams playing each other twice, or
No.
are we going? How many games are in the schedule?
We got an 8-game regular season, and the teams are playing each other one time. There's no team you're going to play twice. One time. It was a very strategic type of concept to do a schedule. You had 12 teams that wanted 8 games and don't play each other twice, and you wanted 2 conferences. It took a lot. I mean, this was a long time to get it to work. It's not an easy schedule. I had a good help.
And how do the playoffs work, just in case there is when I say imbalance, let's say most of the teams that just happen to collect wins from cross-conference games are in one conference or the other. Are we straight top 4, top 3? Like how do the playoffs?
Top four each are going to get in. It's overall record, and then it goes head to head. So if you're tied, you're head to head. If you're tied again, it's your points against. So 1, 2, 3, simple. Guys for years want to change it every year at the end, and like, oh, our schedule was a lot tougher, and we never know who's going to be good or bad. So I always laugh at the end of the year. It's like, well, we can't predict that, and this year right now, it's really tough to pick a front runner. I really can't. I couldn't even tell you who I would think would be the top 2 in the championship. Couldn't do it.
All right, so let's do a little rapid fire. Who are these teams? Just give me like 2 or 3 sentences per as we go through this thing. It's going straight in order as it appears on the standings. New Jersey Unit.
Unit's coming back after a year off. They're the sleepers right now. The funny thing is, the stuff you're going to want to know, I have no idea because we're starting over, and it's all new players and new blood, and rosters are very low right now where they haven't registered. I don't know anything about the new revamped unit other than the ownership group with Raymond and Facido and the guys. Other than that, there's only 3 players right now on the roster. I couldn't give you X and O of them because they haven't been here in 2 years. So I'm going to learn all these teams this year. I have no idea what they're bringing to the table.
Beautiful. Tri-County Panthers. Well, if you can't tell us about the team, obviously, tell us about what's even more important, especially on a show like mine, which is the front office. How do they run their team?
All right, the unit, top notch. Been around for a lot of years. They came into the NEAFL probably about 8 years ago. And the last 2 years they were there, they lost a big game in Baltimore against the Maryland Saints, Baltimore Saints, 3-0 in the conference title. They came back in 2022 and were like 4 yards away from winning a championship in 22 against the Jackals. And interception was thrown to stop the game, and 2 years in a row. So I'm excited for them to come back because I thought that year 3 was their year. You lose 3-0, you lose on an interception, and now this was your year. But unfortunately, stuff changed, so they're back now, and I would love to see them contend.
How about the Tri-County Panthers? New team?
New team, yeah. D. He goes by the name owner. Puma East is his nickname, Puma. So D is a very, how do you put D? D is very young and hungry. What you want? I mean, he's hungry ownership group. He probably reaches out to me more than anyone else. Hey, your website, you gotta update your website today. My players, he's all about his team and players. So he's bringing a lot of new energy. He's got quite a bit of players on that roster right now. I see a lot of veterans. They're playing out there near Camden area, actually near the Owls, not far. And they're pretty stacked right now with a little bit of talent from what I've seen. You know, they're going to be a contender. They're also going to be a contender.
Nice. Reading Raptors, arena background, but we've not seen them with 11.
Yeah, a lot of. I think they got like 8 championships. You know, I've talked to them through the years of coming to spring, probably like 6, 7 times in the past. And they were in arena a long time, and I saw all the rings. And you know, Bill runs a really good organization. I mean, they got a top-notch stadium up there. They've got, you know, the top-notch advertisement group. They got, you know, a lot of good stuff they're bringing to the league that, you know, a lot of guys could learn off of how they're doing things. They're another one that's stacking up pretty good. I mean, right now they got probably like 39 players on their roster, but registered, they might have about 20 more already. So he's got a good program up there. He's going to be doing live games at the stadiums, and I'm not sure if they're going to travel too.
Gotcha.
But they look good. They look good. They're bringing a lot of good energy.
Wellington Wolfpack.
Wolfpack,
Were they previously in your league? Because a lot of people think that football down there was started with the Den, but a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the teams that left your league went to the Den, and now they are returning.
Right. Yeah, the Wolfpack has been around a while. They actually sat at the table in 2011. The owner, Levin Karn, when I started the league, that was our, you know, our beginning, and they were there for a long time. Again, they were another championship caliber, you know, for a while there. 2017, I think it was. They were in the championship. They lost 22-21. Always a good program, always stacked. They got Matos over there running the show and holding these practices, and he's got a good staff. They look stacked right now. They look quiet on paper, but the word travels fast. And, you know, what I got this week was like 80 guys, possibly 75 guys at practice. You know, that's a lot. So, you know, we have a 53-man roster, so I know they got their work cut out for them. You know, they're another one, another contender. This is why, you know, all these teams could be evenly matched, and that's what I fight for. You know, just seeing so much competition, equal competition, and not knowing who the champion is.
Yeah, well, I remember reaching out to those guys because, you know, Delaware is one of those areas, those states that I like. You pass through, you don't really pay it much mind and such. Yeah. But a 70-man,
you're in and out.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Actually, let them know. I'd like to maybe shoot an episode of Way Too Early down there with them at a 70 practice. Even if
they got a nice facility. They practice at Delaware University. That's awesome.
The Blue Hats awesome.
That alone probably gets a lot of attention. You know, that's what I was saying when I saw him practicing there. I mean, that doesn't get any better than that inside. You know, that beautiful place.
Indeed. Yeah. New Jersey Eagles. Go Birds.
Eagles. They came off probably like a 500 season in the LDFL with Leicester's they played against the Owls. The Delco was there. That's Dre. That's Dre from Philadelphia's league. They were in there. Get the ball rolling for them. Zay's another young, energetic owner. I mean, doing everything you would like. He's got the gear. He's got the guys at practice. He's got the film. You know, these guys are doing a little bit. And today they want more. So another energetic owner. He's got a nice looking roster right now. Another contender, playing near Hamilton, New Jersey. But he's doing a good thing. These guys are working hard. I got to give it to him. It's cold out here. There's snow. These guys are out there in it. You know, he's doing a good job.
Nice. One thing that South Jersey is absolutely beating New York on is the amount of young owners that are getting into this thing.
Yeah.
Like the owners group, I'd like to see the statistics on it, but the average age of owners that are south of, let's say, you know, Newark versus North,
Yeah.
is absolutely astounding. That's why you even see some of the great organizations, which I'll get into later on when I do my dynasty bracket. The Marlboro Shamrocks have closed down operations, and now the Admirals, the
Wow.
defending champ for 3
So
years.
Marlboro Shamrocks in Boston, Mass.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I was watching their games when I was living there, like in '09. I was living in Boston in '09, and I went to their
yeah,
games. Yeah.
literally,
They've
it's
been
like
around a while.
like the Mariners shutting down. It's one of those
Wow.
turning the chapter. So now the Admirals and the Shamrocks are gone. So New England.
It's tough, what happens, and it's a new era. Like I had to change. The new era came up, and I told everything. I didn't change. Semi-pro changed, so now I had to change. We got to change with the turning of the time with stuff. You've been around a while. I've been around a long time. We've been around through this transition of 30 years, and it's different. It's a total different game.
Talk to me about the Garden State Herd. I've spoken to Juan DePena, so we know what's going on with them, but just give us your take on it.
A lot of energy. The Herd is the last year they're in the NEAFL. They were a 500 team. I know they were in a playoffs last year system in the other league. Came back. They got a lot of energy. Juan's running at the seat right now. I talked to him not too long ago. They got practices going on. Right now, again, like a lot of the teams right now, there's players registered but not on the roster yet. They got to finish the registration process. Another sleeper for me. I did watch their energy in their games last year because they live streamed their games. And then when they were coming over, I kind of knew, what kind of a team they're going to have. Some of my throat, sorry. But they got their own stadium, which is, top notch to have. They got their own rights given to them on this place from what I was, seeing. And, they were always top notch in everything. A commercial team, you know what I mean? A commercial team, when you want top notch, that's at the top of it. Everything they do starts at their look and appearance. And, you want other teams to follow that. Product right now, again, they got so much new talent. I don't even know. I'm learning these teams over again. So again, I know they'll be a contender because I know Juan's going to put his best effort in there. What they got right now, I don't know. So I'm waiting for the rosters to load up so I could do my scientific philosophy of knowledge of the game. But right now everyone's a little low right now, and they're getting everyone in the ball signing up.
I see. Gotcha. Now, as we take the turn, because that is the National Conference, the Jersey Unit, Tri-County Panthers, Reading Raptors, Wilmington Wolfpack, New Jersey Eagles, go Birds, and the Garden State Herd. As we take the turn, you mentioned the loading of the rosters and such. Now, we did see in some leagues last year, including some of these teams that are now making their way to your league, have 65-man rosters. But then on game day, and I know you've seen my show, so I don't ask softball questions. I don't just give you home runs to hit. I'm going to ask the tough questions. How you prevent a team from having a 65-man roster and then showing up on game day with 15, 16 guys?
Showing up with 50, 60?
15 or 16.
Oh,
or
15
even, God forbid,
or 16.
Yeah, because we saw that last year.
Yeah,
these huge rosters, and then we're forfeiting games saying they couldn't get enough players.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I have an advantage with is travel. Strategically, the schedule was done, 4 home, 4 away. Everyone really didn't have any travel. Anything under 2 hours is not bad. And everyone so far, the travel is the key to number 1. Number 2, trying to prevent it, keeping the camaraderie positive. We have a strict rule. I said in our lounge, we don't put a team down, we lift them up. Because as well as I do, this younger generation, someone loses 2 games right away, teams go on there and they will haze them like a sixth grade playground. And these guys, they're a little different than we were. I'm going to go out there week 3 and try to get that. We're going to fight a little hard. Guys in the past are going to try to jump on a team that's 2-0. So we're preventing that. I put a little bit of a cash or a transfer fee on that. Guys aren't happy about it. It's not much, but it helps prevent. And what it did the last 2 years, because we were 2 years in a row, no forfeits. Okay? Nobody forfeited a game in the last 2 years.
No optional football. I hate optional football.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually working, with the positive, no forfeits, finish your season. It's the atmosphere, and low travel. So it's the atmosphere helps. Everything helps.
Beautiful. And you might be the only league that did not have forfeits last year.
I did my research, and I think I was the only one on the entire East Coast.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, that's success. To me, that's success. That's bigger than anything else. I try to, whatever it is, I will pat myself on the back for that. Even though it wasn't me, it was the team's hard work. I just the face over here, but it was the teams, the owners keeping it together, and then players showing up.
Now, I do have to put you on pause for 1 second. Yeah. Can you do me a favor and slide this way?
Yeah. I can just turn it this way.
Giants jersey in the background?
It's a what?
Is that a New York Giants jersey in the background?
I'm a Jets and Eagles fan. That's for the weight room. That's Lawrence Taylor.
Okay, all right.
Lawrence Taylor. I grew up. I'm from New York. Okay. That was one of my idols growing up.
Lawrence Taylor is the exception.
I tried hiding it with my head like this.
Because if it was anybody else except LT, and I do have a picture of.
I got LT. I got Buckus. I got Lambert. I got the great line. I'm a linebacker fan.
Okay.
Derek Thomas. I got all their jerseys. I got some sign. Yeah, linebackers and defense. That's
Gotcha. Because I have a picture of myself, my son, and LT. Yeah. That's like the only thing that's Giants that is not located in the bathroom of the man cave. But I will notice, like in your background, you have the legendary Giant on one side, and then you have the current Giants on the other side, mounted on the wall because they have played like some deer in some headlights this year. Go Birds. So let's move to the American Conference. Talk to me about the New Jersey. These were some of those teams that, like, you hear their names, but you're not really sure who they are because they don't have as much of a as much of a presence. Yeah. So tell me about the New Jersey Militia.
Oh, the Militia. Okay. North Jersey. They say Central. I say North. So I'll say Central. They're more like Central, almost North. Bill Morrow's team, he started when 2 years ago with me, struggled in the worst way as a new owner, another young guy.
What town do they play in?
What's that? I'm sorry?
What town do they play in?
Jackson, New Jersey.
Oh, that's Central New Jersey. Yeah, that's Central.
Yeah, to me, I'm all the way near to Cape May, you know what I mean? So it's north to me. But yeah, Jackson, New Jersey, they got another great program. Bill turned it in. And they were, I'm sorry about that. They were in the championship last year. They went from like 1-7 2 years ago to like 9-1 last year. And Bill was one of them. Another energetic new owner came in from scratch, had nothing, just a dream and loved football. And he was building his program, and then he figured, I got to build the right staff. So he went out and he got Keith Anderson and a lot of the coaches that were from the former like New Jersey Pitbulls / New Jersey Knights. Put it together, brought some more players in, a powerhouse. They're going to be another contender this year. A lot of talent out there. Guys you heard like Lance Fisher and, Daniel Kellett broke the record, rushing records in the league last year. And, it's going to have a nice program. They look good. Some kind of this militia uniform that, no one's ever had before. It's like Fortnite or something. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay. I saw. Is that the one with the camo?
Yeah. Yeah, the camo. The camo.
Gotcha. Our Patriots used to have not that camo, but we definitely did camo before. The guys got sick of it. I camoed everything up. But yeah, wear it with pride. I appreciate that.
So another contender.
I saw Lester Cream in the room. So talk to me about the Tri-County Owls.
Lester's a sleeper right now. I think a lot of teams will sleep on him.
Stop. Lester Cream.
He's a sleeper.
Sleeper anywhere. Nah.
I'm just saying over here. They coach gets written off. They like put him over here all the time. They just forget his brain. You know what I mean? Coach is coach. You could give him anything, he's going to turn it into a team because he's one of the last, like you say, the old guys up there. Lester's one of the guys down here that I always preach to guys. Treat them good, respect them, because like guys like this are going to be gone. And once they're gone, you might not get guys like this no more.
Correct.
And he's one of the last standing OGs of South Jersey in this area that played with the New York teams, that played in the big leagues against the Piranhas and the Seminole, all these guys and other things. But he's not showing a roster right now, but one guy. But we did talk last night. He's going to, the group is going to do it together this week. So he's another mystery. He's bringing in a lot of new blood, which every year really helps the league. Even though some guys, disrespectfully sometimes come in and then they leave, but he's going to have a nice product.
Nice.
He's going to have a nice product. Camden. He's in Camden, New Jersey also.
Does. He plays, it sometimes seems though he plays like three seasons a year. It's like,
yeah,
he's always
just two.
Gotcha. Yeah. Central Jersey Vikings. Talk to me about the Vikings.
Coach Lowe. Yeah. Coach always going to have a product. He's got a lot of love. I like him. He's funny. Coach Lowe's a funny guy. It was a pleasure for him to come in because I actually tried getting them for years because I didn't know him, and I really wasn't a internet guy. And then I think it was Howard and him had a talk, and Howard was doing film with him, and he was talking about spring, and Howard sent him my direction, and it was a great. He brings a lot of fun to the game. The players, I love the Vikings players, very respectful, and that starts at the top. And I'm not saying nothing to any team. I'm just my experience last year with them. Great. Very respectful guys, man. Every game I went to, there was just great guys.
Indeed. They're very similar to, for guys that are in here that don't know or never seen the Vikings, very similar to like I would say the Grave Diggers in terms of how they're composed. They just don't have depth. Like that's the thing that they're missing. They have some spark. They have some spark plugs at the skill positions, and then
they do.
Yeah,
they do.
If they just add some depth, there'll be a problem. So
and here's the thing. I don't know if you know this. In the conference title last year, the conference title, they lost the game on a touchdown that was scored under 2 minutes on a fumble that was forwarded by the next guy up, the tight end. Ooh. Where NFL rule was the refs didn't catch it, and nobody caught it until we're like 3 plays down.
Ooh.
So the Vikings were this close to being in the NEAFL championship last year, and I know that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. You know what I mean? That was
indeed.
That was huge.
Indeed. What up, Yogi? How you doing, sir? Fly Eagles fly, indeed. Go Birds. Next up is the Chester City Tide. Is that the Delaware Tide, and they're just being more regionalized now?
Yeah, they're in Delaware. Well, Chester is kind of like PA, but they play in Delaware. I get it confused to this day, and these guys been around. The ownership group of this has been around since I started, and they were kids. So now they're grown men married with kids. They a great group. Lamar Shaw, legendary Hall of Famer in the league. Joey, all these guys. Champ. They got a good coaches over there with Lou Johnson. Young team. I've seen them in the weight room together. Camaraderie. They get a lot of these young players now from Chester, and I did talk to Lamar, and he's like, I started with these guys a couple years ago, like 18, 19, 20, now hitting 23, 22, and 24. So it's a team of the future. Win or lose, they're going to give you 4 quarters. Big mystery this year. The roster only has 1 guy on it right now for registration, and I don't know these guys. Most of the guys on the team, except for some of the veterans, like Artie Perone and a couple others, this new era in the league this year. I have no idea these players. So it's going to be a good learning experience again with them too.
Indeed. And also, but while I got Yogi and I see Zay in the comments as well. I need some gear. I need some Jersey Eagles gear. I don't discriminate. And on the show, I definitely will put up the gear. And I pay, by the way. I don't even ask for free stuff too. So people kind of look at me like I'm asking for handouts and such. My money is good. I definitely have to get down to games because I also am the purveyor of, or the a critic of concession stands, especially if you have league wide. From what your experience has been, who has the best concession stand? That's the most important question. So if I'm going to go to a game, what concession?
I would think it would be between right now in my league. It would be probably between the militia and the bullies. Bullies always got the fish fries. and you know, a lot of food and stuff. Yeah, they got this nice fish fry they do over there. You know, two or two big pieces of fish, and I'm a food guy. And then the militia always got a stocked burgers, dogs, and all this good stuff out there. So they got a lot, anything you want. They got everything, the candy too, which I shouldn't be eating.
Got it. Yeah, that's when it comes to the Bleezy Network. Big shout out to the three Bleezys. Big show on Thursdays coming up when the season starts. I'm going to be their special correspondent when it comes to the food that is served at games, just to make sure that everything is on the up and up and safe. You know.
I try to tell the guys, hey, you can pay your rest with that food. You know, you got to have food at games, man. It's championships. I've lived it. You know, I've had the foods, and I told them I've had some games where I hired people to do it, and they were like, how much they made, and I was like, what? Yeah, people get hungry. They don't want to leave. You know,
absolutely. And good food is even better. Like, you don't want out there with the burnt up burgers and we got food this year for the Jersey Eagles. Gotcha. Yeah, we don't want to sit there with burnt up burgers and like itty bitty like that. Like the plates. There's somebody on your team, whether it be somebody's wife, girlfriend, somewhere in between. Relationship issues, but you gotta put them to good use.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you know, community is everything. You know, I always thought that, you know, when you get your players on a team and your coaching staffs, you recommend, hey, you should be tell your friends to come, tell your girlfriends to come, tell the kids to come. It should be a community thing. I mean, the early cold games is tough, but yeah, you want everyone to bring somebody. Bring somebody. It's a memory. You know, I didn't get a chance to have my parents see me play football when I was younger. So, you know, it was a big thing when my mom at the end saw me on TV and semi-pro and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it was big for me. So it could be these guys too.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? It could be these guys too.
Some of the cool things that I've seen, New York Bears, big shout out to the champs, had fish tacos that were pretty impressive.
That sounds good. Ooh. People run to that. And when you got something good, like, I don't know if you know the Hurricanes, Maryland Hurricanes.
Gotcha.
Like Bash does food. Like, it's not like food. I don't know if you've seen his trays he does down there in Maryland. Oh. Salmon and crab legs, and you know, he does these big things.
Man, so in New York, it's Black's Barbecue, and Black's Barbecue, you know, he started out with the ribs. Now he goes to the salmon is absolutely delicious, 100%. Wow.
That sounds good.
Yeah, he has this macaroni salad that absolutely, like, I get a tray of it, and then I just scoop out a serving during the course of the week, and then just toss it in the fridge, and I just snack. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
The alert team, I forgot, is head coach Matos from the Wolfpack, his wife. Okay. I know they do food. I think they're doing them at their games. And I've heard nothing but like people raving about her food.
That's what Lester's saying right now. Lester, what?
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, with great minds think alike. Yeah. Let me see that.
Give me whatever. Like,
the fat guys are coming out. You're talking about food, and all the fat guys are going to start talking.
So just tell me what her specialty is. I mean, I'm sampling everything. I got no problem with it. Like, I share.
You know,
like, I'll go.
No, it's. I'm almost positive it's Dominican food or Colombian food. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. I just know it's Spanish food, and it's lights out. It's all people talk about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I forgot. I actually had a conversation with one of the coaches. I was trying to get something out of him in trade, you know, not too long ago. And I was like, oh, you owe me a steak for the schedule, I think it was. He said, it's in my freezer. I said, well, never mind. Don't tell Matos. I'm going to go try to talk to him, see if I can get some of that food, you know, from his wife when she's got a game. You know, I'll trade. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But, yeah, it's that good. I heard a lot about it.
I know that I would be absolutely grilled. Pun intended, if I were to put this, like, if I was, this is why I can't be a commissioner in the league, because I would say that a tiebreaker would be who had the better concession stand. Like, if two teams had locked up, same record, head to head was pretty much locked up. I would say,
pull up, yeah.
We'll give home field advantage to whoever has Dominican food.
And then you would see guys really stepping it up.
Yeah. Yeah, Penny over whatever. Oh, yeah, the Penny won that would be the. You know what? You got me on this. I'm writing it down right now.
Well, you worked with Howard this year.
I did.
You did games opposite of me.
I did.
You did. Now, if you ever get an opportunity, and you want an opportunity for Woodbury, New Jersey.
Wait. Okay, so Howard didn't put me on the best games for food.
Woodbury, New Jersey is all I'm going to tell you. They bring the big 12, 20-foot smokers out there, and I went down just to get a piece of just some ribs.
How did you
and
get that?
they put it like this.
I didn't
It
get
was like
that,
this. Yeah, they didn't charge me. They didn't charge us at here. I was off the live.
They put
Rack
you on the
ribs.
assignment?
I had jerk chicken. Yeah. Woodbury Panthers.
So
I'll let you have it next year. I know you're going to be working with them next year. We do fall.
I'm about to fight. Like literally, I want to end the live now so I could go and
it was top notch. These guys came in there with the smokers and
now. Yeah. So I'm gonna do championship bracket for concession stands. So just like I did the championship bracket for dynasties, I'm gonna have the food bracket. Yes, I'm gonna do that starting next episode.
I'll tell you what, Lester got the quality hot dogs. Lester, I see he's on here. Lester get those like 5-pound hot dogs. Lester get the good dogs at his games. I give Lester that. You get the big dogs.
I tell you, we went up to Canada, and they had hot dogs and burgers for the it was the day before the game. We had a barbecue, the whole bit, and these hot dogs were like absolutely crazy. And the guys didn't know that it was actually moose and not pork or beef. And they're like, "This is really, really unique." And I didn't have the heart to tell them until afterwards. And they were like, "Yo, Pat, that was really moose." I'm like,
"It's actually one of the best meats. It's one of the best 100%. Meats."
So maybe that'll be like the 16 seed in the Cinderella bracket is the moose Bleezy's pause. So yeah, it's getting crazy. All right, so back to the football thing. Oh, we went off track. So we got so we were talking about the Tide.
Yeah.
That you talked about the Tide and how they don't have the roster out, but they have some history behind this thing. Cool. So they've been
around a long time. They were, they started out. Lamar, the owner, was a Delco Cowboy for years, one of the top teams to ever play in the league, and he's one of them guys that grew up in the league from a kid to a married man and children, and now he's a coach in the school and he's a coach and a mentor to all these young guys. So it's nice to see that transition. But yeah, young team. Going to give you 4 quarters. They're adding talent to it. So, another contender. I believe every team's a contender right now. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Awesome. So while I am writing down, and if in the comments, please put down who you think should be in the, I'm not sure if we're going to go to a 16-team bracket or we have to expand to 32-team bracket. Which concession stand foods make the tournament so we can decide a champion on this thing. You do have to factor in the ability to be served outside and the manipulation, especially of the temperatures and such, because like buffalo wings, for example, love me some buffalo wings, but you can't manipulate that outside while playing the games. That's going to be a tough one. So I can't put buffalo wings would be an early exit for me. So while I'm doing that, please talk about the Cumberland County Bullies.
Bullies. I just seen them practicing yesterday in the snow. They were, a lot of the team players were on the Cobras the year before they won this year's championship. And those players, won a championship on the Cobras with that coaching staff. There was a split, we know semi-pro. So they formed their own team, and then they went out and won a championship, that staff. This year, a lot of teams are looking past them. They're young. They're scrappy. I mean, the team won a championship with 30 players the entire year without adding anybody, and then went to the Mafia Bowl down in D.C. and beat the Richmond, Virginia Savages for the first ever Mafia Bowl with the Mid-Atlantic Football Association. Me and Greg Flip created down there in the ECFA, and to play a season with 30 guys from beginning to end and showing up with 25, and then 28 sometimes, a couple guys got to work. It speaks volumes at this level that more isn't always better. If you cut some fat, you get a better connection possibly. I played in an era most of the time where it was 35 guys, and I think we were close. We only needed one bus. We were close. but times are changed. The guys want to be more like the NFL, which is only 53, so 65 never made sense to me.
Right.
It's like, but I believe they're going to be a contender. Obviously, they're the two-time defending champs. They got a lot of work to do because like George called me every couple of weeks. Are we going to get more teams? We're going to get more teams. That's the owner of the team,
Right.
and we just don't want to play everyone twice. And I understand that could be hard. You want to play more teams and you want to grow, but I'm in an area where it was tough. It gets tough. You lose a team, it gets tough. They're just not coming out of the woodwork where they were years ago.
Right. And that makes it tougher, more travel. More travel makes a 30-man team very, very tough because you end up, being able to lose numbers because of the distance. And last but not least, of course, the Mid-Pennsylvania Knights. So where exactly is Mid-Pennsylvania? And who
They're
are
up
these
near
Knights?
Harrisburg in Lebanon. They're in Lebanon, PA.
Got it.
Steven has been like a child to me, grooming him. Young guy, never owned a team. And he came 2 years ago, very low numbers, but they were the first team to have a bus. They were traveling in a bus. They, did everything they could to match. They started out real low, but, I told the guys, a team starting out, we have to build, and that's where we're all building. Keep building. Give positive. If you see something wrong, you got a lot of mentors to learn off of. And if you want your league to be great, it has to do with everyone in it. So he's come a long way, to travel to, I think it was the final game of last year, to play a loaded up, tough militia. They were playoff ready. So you had 0-7 and 8-0. Coming week 8. That was a tough game, and they traveled all the way to Jackson, 3.5 hours. I mean, they played a great game, but they made it and played, and that's the respect factor. I had more respect than anything on that. Because, guys will make fun of teams.
Not forfeiting early.
Yeah.
Respect in playing those games.
Yeah, so he's got my respect. He communicates very well, young owner. I'm all young. I got majority young owners in the league.
That's awesome.
So, I have to learn them. We're all getting to know each other these past couple of years.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that rounds out the American Conference. Again, that's the Jersey Militia, Tri-County Owls, Central Jersey Vikings, Chester Tide, Cumberland County Bullies, and the Mid-Pennsylvania Knights. Again, if you have home games and such, I will try to make it out. Definitely want to check out a practice or so.
Yeah.
Just, message me and I can I'll make it happen. I'll love to travel, especially if you're a family-friendly environment. That's the constant thing that I'm stressing here on Way Too Early with Pat. If because when I travel, I roll with the kids and the wife. So if you got
that's nice.
Yeah, so if you got some craziness going on, then I'm good. Yeah. Let's stick to that stuff. So
we really don't have any problems. That's another thing is when you keep promoting, that everyone's got to do it in every league. Every league owners, you got to keep promoting positivity. That's the main thing at the top. The drama and all that stuff we don't need. You don't want it. We want to keep this going on for a long time. It's going to go on past us. It's going to outlive us. It's going to keep going. What it's going to look like, I couldn't tell you what it's going to look like one day. But the way the NFL is changing, which I'm not too fond of, I'm the old school. We want to kill quarterbacks and stuff. Jack Tatum and Lambert and Buckets. You want to, but it's changing.
Hold on for 1 second. So Zay, he has the Eagles with the big eyes going. Yes, you definitely missed. We went over every single team, starting by conference. So we definitely.
We talked about the Eagles. Because you were asking about gear. You want gear. New Jersey Eagles gear.
Yeah, you're bugging if you thought I would. Out of all teams to accidentally
DVR it, man.
It would never be the Eagles. Definitely not. So, and 100%. Again, send me an invite. I'll be down in Jersey Eagles camp if you invite me, or down to a game. 100%. And that's when I mentioned the gear. So, last question for you before I move on to my dynasty bracket and bid you a fond farewell. Let's talk week 1 action. Mid-Pennsylvania Knights versus the Jersey Eagles. Unit is taking on the Tri-County Owls. That's the inter-conference games of the week. Reading Raptors play the Tri-County Panthers. Wilmington Wolfpack take on the Herd. That's the National Conference games. American Conference games, Jersey Militia against the Cumberland County
That's the
Bullies.
championship rematch.
Oh, so and then the last one, let me give it its due. Central Jersey Vikings are taking on the Chester City Tide. So what is the game of the week for the first week?
I would have to go with the championship. It's the front runner right now because, like I said, every team's a mystery. I can only go by this is week one. It happened by accident, and when the schedule was done, I was like, "Woo, this is going to be nice," So I would have to go with that game only because I know the history. They were in the championship. It was an overtime championship. It was, a great live stream. 400 fans came to the game, even with the live stream. It was a heck of a game. One of the best games I've seen in a long time.
So one of the game, my game of the week, because I will definitely pick something that's not the one that you picked. That
Yeah.
could be sneaky good. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could be sneaky good. Is that Jersey Unit versus the Owls?
Yeah. Well, the
It was
last
in
time they
Freetown.
played in the NEAFL, I think the last game they played in the NFL, if I'm not wrong, the unit were beating the Owls with no time left. There was like a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And the unit fumbled the ball in 2019. Daniel Curtis picked it up, ran 80 yards to win. They should have lost. By standards, they should have lost. They went on to go undefeated in 19 and win the championship. But week one, the unit had them over.
Adam did.
And that's the last time I think in our league they played. Now, they have played outside of it. So I expect that same energy from possibly that
Right.
game.
So the Owls usually get off to a slow start, I've noticed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so. I think so.
They usually are a slow starter, and then the Jersey Unit coming back with momentum and a fresh look. So that's, to me, that's,
So they're both they're going to be about the same. Yeah, I would say about the same energy right now.
yeah, that's
Right now they're both not speaking a lot. You know what I mean? They're both quiet. So I don't know much other than what's registered right now. But it's going to be a good game. Good coaching staffs on both ends. And week one, we all know week one could go any direction.
indeed.
Any direction week one because you got to if you're not getting them linemen moving before that day or scrimmages and stuff or coming out of fall, week one is do or die. I'd rather lose week one than lose week 12.
That much is true, indeed. So, last thing, any last words or what have you, or things to look forward to as we bid you adieu for the day.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I appreciate you bringing me on. It was pretty cool. I've never done this as semi-pro, so it's my first time being on a live or talking with someone like this. And I'm excited for the season. Everyone's going to get a show because we don't know much about the league, and it's hard to say that, but we're all new. Teams are back and a lot of new players. So I'm just as excited as the teams and hopefully everyone else. So I'm going to be learning and studying real quick them first couple weeks and getting to know a lot of the new players and stuff like that. But we're going to put on a show. We got a lot of live stream games this year. So I hope everyone enjoys that. And, these guys are working really hard and they're going to do their best to give everyone a good show this year.
So we appreciate you, John Cieplenski from the NEAFL.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir. Enjoy your day and go Birds.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Hey, good luck.
All right. Awesome. So that was a great conversation. So you have the rundown of the NEAFL. Last week we did a conversation about the Big East. Since they're still adding teams and things are moving in preseason mode, we will save the preseason rundown of teams, and when Mason Morgan and Nessa or whoever representative comes on is able to come on and tell us exactly who's in and when the schedule drops. They did have the opening weekend schedule drop, so let me actually get to that for a second. While we're going over that, give me a second. They have their opening weekend. Oh, that wasn't it. Big East football. There you go. Their opening weekend. Nope. 6 teams won champion. They do a big shout out to the Big East stepping up their game. Dolphins had a um, announcement about playing or doing some type of exchange with Columbia. Columbian Exchange is pretty funny for those history guys. National Bowl Series, I-95 Bowl Series. Some of you guys don't know about that. Definitely want to get back to that. But big shout out to Mike Baker, keeping the information flowing on the Big East. So the schedule has not been completely released. However, there is a doubleheader for kickoff weekend. You got the Shaolin Hurricanes versus the Empire State Wolfpack in the first game of the doubleheader. And then in the second game of the doubleheader, you have the Dolphins versus the Green Wave. So that is the Empire State side of week one. And then the rest of the teams are going to be at West Haven, Connecticut at Veterans Memorial Field. That will be the Brooklyn Bengals versus the New England Black Panthers. Big shout out to Mike Baker. Thank you for making this information readily available. New England Golden Lions versus the Kingston Lions. So they have a Lion Bowl battle, a little King of the Jungle action there. And then in the third game, again, Maine Norsemen were going through some issues, so I'm not exactly sure if this one is still a go. But again, they're getting things structured. So there'll be Norsemen right now are on the docket to play the New York Crusaders, the runner-up from last year. So that is week one for Big East. So good job to those guys. Now let's talk about the dynasty bracket. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Last we saw the Chambersburg Cardinals versus the Marlboro Shamrocks. So when you are looking at these two teams, the Shamrocks have the history. The Shamrocks, I mean, the timing on it is pretty crazy because the Shamrocks are now no more. We've just seen the last year of Shamrock football. But when you have a matchup between two Titans like this, Chambersburg Cardinals, 13 championships, super competitive team, and they do have the amount of championships, but in terms of the actual strength of the team, like how great some of these teams were, like per year, that's what really has surged that particular brand, where people still talk about it years and years later about how great that team was, even so much that they talk about whether the players were paid or they were housed, the rent was paid and what have you. So but taking all that stuff out, because ultimately, again, if you played, you played. That's a very powerful team. Their offensive line was exceptional. One of the best offensive lines, actually the best offensive line I've seen on this level. And then on the other side, you end up with the Marlboro Shamrocks. They have 20 championships, and they played some big league competition. AAA in terms of their league, because they played a number of years in leagues that designated AAA, AA, single A. So as opposed to in many other places where AAA, AA is assigned by somebody who doesn't really know the teams or know much about the sport in general, you end up having in the New England area, which is one thing that I absolutely give them credit for, is that the teams knowingly and willingly go into divisions. So it is AAA football, no debate. So you're ending up with a schedule where you are playing all AAA teams. So that, to me, pushes them over the top, over the rest of the bracket, because their schedule from start to finish over the course of those 20 championships, I think they were playing tougher competition from game to game. And then on top of it, after they won the championship, these were the teams that were going through a bracket in order to get to nationals. So for those of you may not know, especially the younger guys out there, when you won your league, I'm going to say way back in the day, this is literally a system that was destroyed, I think, in maybe 2012 or 2013, where teams started to not have to play in tournaments. So, getting kind of scattered, let me get back to the point. Relatively recently, what you had to do once you won your championship of your league, you had to go into a bracket, and that bracket, you had to win at least 2 games. Usually it was 2 games in order to get to the nationals. It was not I'm a league champion, so I go to nationals. No, not that at all. It was midway through the Seminoles dynasty where teams that ordinarily would have joined the Harvest Bowl or the Metro Bowl brackets in order to get them to qualify, not all of a sudden, it ended up going from like 3 games to 2 games to, oh, let's just play one Harvest Bowl championship game, and then the Harvest Bowl championship game winner goes to Florida, and now it's 0 games go straight to Florida. So you have to give credit to those teams like the Shamrocks that played through a bracket in order to get to nationals, because you're playing other champions and other top competition. They would let maybe like a runner-up get in there every now and again. But for the most part, you were playing champion versus champion. So with that being said, Shamrocks have 20, Chambersburg has 13. And although one or two of those Chambersburg teams would have gotten the best of the Shamrocks, overall, the dynasty champion is the Marlboro Shamrocks. Shout out to those guys. Great program. And I say this absolutely heartfelt, being that we have seen the last of the Marlboro Shamrocks this past year. So at least we're sending them off with some flowers as well. So congratulations. I have in my bracket, and again, you can disagree. You might be right. I don't know. We have all-time champions in the Patterson Dynasty Dream Season bracket, tournament champions all time. Big shout out to the Marlboro Shamrocks, defeating the Chambersburg Cardinals. Great job for those guys. So, and it wouldn't be by much, by the way. It was very, very tough to navigate. So, big shout out to everybody, and I appreciate everybody who chimed in and gave their 2 pennies and their 2 cents in when it came to what they thought they respect. And again, during the course of the off season, you definitely want to keep yourself busy and stay out of the nonsense and talking about stuff that doesn't matter, and appreciate the game, as John Cieplenski said. Have a refreshing take on things. So, big shout out Pioneer Sports. Big shout out to the 3 Bleezys. One of the things that I'm working on now, I'm working on something else with this concession stand thing. I think we hit lightning in a bottle on this thing. Bleezy cards. Let's talk about it real quick, and then I'll let you guys go and get the day started. So, for those that don't know, I don't know how you do. Kadeem, possibly, and I'm sorry if it is backwards, with the Bleezy cards. Some of you guys seen on my, there it is, for my Hall of Fame induction, I handed these out. Pretty cool as well. I handed these out to some of my guests that came to the Hall of Fame induction. So big shout out to Earl from the Bandits. Bleezy cards, pretty cool, right? So I'm thinking, of course, the kids. Big shout out to Cecilia and all the Proud Dads Club out there. So, yeah, Kadeem does an awesome job with these. And I have a few more. I'll post them. Of course, among them as well, Juan Rodriguez from the Bears. He has some Bears cards that are really, really nice, by the way. So I want to do, in conjunction with Kadeem, I got to get Haunch up early in the morning to come on way too early with Pat Bleezy to discuss Bleezy cards and how you get a hold of or get them done or what have you. So absolutely awesome, good memento of your playing days or your coaching days. So really cool. Big shout out to Hanch on that. So that's pretty much it for this week. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see covered on the show, please let me know, and we'll kind of take it from there. So for another episode, big shout out PDF Network and those guys over there for another episode of Way Too Early with Pat. Coach Patterson, go Birds!